Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to interview American citizen and let me introduce her. Her name is Joani and she's 80. Hi Joani, how are you doing today?
Hi, I am. I'm doing just fine. It's a beautiful day and I'm happy to be out and able to enjoy the sunshine and the warm weather.
First, I want to thank you for agreeing to give an interview despite of the fact that first I'm an international student and my English is not so perfect. And the second fact is the situation in the world, in the city. But despite of these facts, you agreed me to give an interview, so I really appreciate that.
I am always happy to encourage, particularly women, to become independent, to have a sense of self-worth, and to realize that there is a lot of life to be lived, whether you're 20, 40, 60, or 80.
I'm gonna ask you several questions about yourself. Like in short, you said you are 80. It means you were born in 1939. And can you tell me in short about your childhood? Where you born?
I was born in a small city in southeastern Wisconsin called Kenosha. The time I was born there, we had a big American Motors car manufacturer company there. And I went to grade school and junior high and high school. After graduating, I went to Northwestern University, which is in a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. My major was economics.
Let's talk about traveling. Do you like traveling? And if so, that what would you say is the most interesting place that you have traveled to?
Traveling is one of the biggest joys of my life. I didn't travel very much until I was in my mid-40s, and that was the first time I went overseas. I went to London for a theater long weekend with one of the local theaters. I can remember driving into London from the airport and looking around and thinking, oh my God, this has been here all my life, and I never realized it, and that put the bug in my ear. Traveling has become something that has opened the world to me.
I have also grandmother. She's 84. And I told her that I'm going to interview women almost in your age, and she's still driving. And she said like, how is this possible? And I told her like, I don't know either. So can you explain how it is? How it feels to drive in your age?
It never occurred to me I wouldn't be driving at this age. I think it's really quite common for both men and women to be driving. A lot of older people lose some mobility. Some of them can't turn their heads to look behind them. A lot of older people start having eye problems, and their vision, particularly at night, is not that good. I've been very fortunate. I don't have any problems driving. I don't have any problems with mobility. My eyesight is fine. I expect to be driving for 10 more years.
I'm really happy for you that you are still driving. When I came to America, I've noticed that here is a lot of buildings for old people, and they are living, they are enjoying their life, and they are not like complaining. Their children are not living with them. That's okay for them. Sorry for this personal question, but do you live with your children?
I have one son who lives 3 miles from me. He's 54. We have never lived together from the time he went to college. Honestly, a lot of elderly people here don't want to live with their children.
Really?
And they feel that it's a burden on them. And with our individualism, that their children should be able to live their lives. And they prefer to live alone, or in these many buildings that are senior living. And it's not that the seniors are sick or ill, but they are with a group of people that are their age, that have the same interests.
Same generation.
Yeah, there are a lot of activities. To me, one of the worst things is for an elderly person who maybe doesn't drive anymore, and they're in their house, and they don't see anybody. So I think in many cases, it's a good situation.
What do you think about today's technology compared to kind of the technology that you had when you was growing up?
It has, of course, very positive things and very negative things. It makes finding out information extremely easy. To me, the saddest thing is particularly people under 25 that have never known a world without smartphones and without computers. I think that we need human contact. I think that's one reason people have so many pets today, because they don't have a lot of contact with other human beings. But given the COVID situation today, it certainly has been a wonderful thing in people's lives. I notice even myself, up until about 5 years ago, I thought, if I go to someone's house, if they give me a gift, I write them a note. Mm-hmm. And I finally got to the point where I thought, I email them. Mm-hmm. So I've fallen prey to the technology world. Well, I don't use texting a lot because I can't use my thumbs like a lot of people can. When I'm working on my computer, I can just type out my email, and it's much more convenient for me.
What was the best advice that you have been given, and who was it from?
One was from my mother, who, when I was a little girl and I was bothering her, "Mommy, what can I do?" And she would say, "Joani, cultivate your inner resources." And I've never forgotten that. My children got so tired of hearing that. But it means find ways to grow, to develop yourself, to keep yourself busy. Don't depend on other people or going to the store and buying things. Another thing is a quote from a very famous woman author, Anais Nin. And her quote was, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." And that is so true. That's why you have all these differences of opinion. Above all, be positive. And if you are positive and if you expect good things to happen, they're much more likely to happen than if you are negative and, "Oh, it's going to be a bad day. Oh, I'm going to get sick." I really think that sometimes your mind can create situations.
What is your secret to happiness? What motivates you?
Broadening my horizons. I have really had 2 lives. I was married for 23 years. I had 2 children. I did not work. I raised my children. I did community work. I went back to school and got a master's degree in library science. And I divorced in my mid-40s. And I started a whole different life. The first part of my life, I was really living for what my parents and then my husband and the community expected me to do. And when I divorced, I realized there was no white knight that was going to come galloping along on his horse and rescue me. Mm-hmm. And that whatever I wanted in life, I was going to have to create for myself. And the 2 things I knew I was going to do were to get out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, because I'm a big city person and I wanted to live in a big city. And I had just been to London, my first trip overseas, and I knew I wanted to travel. So I started traveling, and I worked very hard at becoming independent and making my own decisions. And as I started traveling, I realized how enriching it is to meet people from other cultures and other countries, and their wonderful food and their customs and their dances. And I have a saying that is broaden your horizons. There's so much in the world to learn, to do, to experience. There's so many incredible people to meet that every time I come back from a trip, I've always got 2 or 3 countries that I want to travel to. And I've been very fortunate. I've been to 96 countries.
Wow.
And my favorite countries are really those that are the most opposite culture-wise. So I loved Bhutan. I loved Uzbekistan.
Wow, you've been in Uzbekistan. It's really next to my country.
I know.
Wow.
I've been to Iran. I've been to Saudi Arabia because I had a student at UCSD that we became very good friends, and they invited me to come visit them in Riyadh.
By the way, I also invite you to our country. Now you have a lot of students from Kazakhstan, and you know, in Kazakhstan, the nature is very beautiful, gorgeous. If you came to Kazakhstan, we would like show our hospitality.
I have found that all over the world. In Iran, the people were wonderful.
Yeah.
They would come up, hello, how are you? And can you come to my house for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
I do hope to come to Kazakhstan because I now do know several people. Another thing that I think brings happiness for me has actually been working. And I didn't work the first half of my life. And I've had several different careers. I was a concierge, and I was an event planner for the San Diego Symphony. And now I'm working with foreign students at UCSD, and giving to other people, doing something for other people is so rewarding. And I think the third thing is always discovering new things. And I think if you keep learning, you keep incorporating new things into your life, then life becomes this opening, unfolding drama that there's always something new to discover.
What would you like to say women in your age living in Kazakhstan, and at the same time to young generation living in Kazakhstan?
I would say that for older people in Kazakhstan, I understand your thoughts, your feelings because of your culture, and that makes it very valid for you to live your life the way that you want to live. But the world has changed, and younger people have different options, and the old ways may have been good for you, but they may not be good for the younger generation. I would urge the older generation to be open-minded, and I would tell the younger generation that you have an uphill battle, but the world is different, and you have a right to live your life as you would like to, and that in doing so, you will have to face disapproval, and you will have to face gossip, and it's not going to be easy, but the rewards are so worth the fight. And that's what I would like to tell the younger generation.
Thank you very much, Joani. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate that despite of this whole situation in the world, you are like looking forward to meet with international students. That means a lot for us. I was also looking forward to show your speech to people living in Kazakhstan, because I really hope that after this video, young generation might start thinking more open-minded, and also elder generation might change their mind. And thank you for your time.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, and if I inspire one person,
That's very good.
makes it all worth it.
that's rewarding for us.
Uh-huh.
If you guys like this video, make sure to do big thumbs up. So thank you very much, John.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your cake.
Oh.
I really hope that it will.
Ooh, it looks delicious.